Tell me how many times you've experienced this. You check everything off your to-do list, but you still feel unfulfilled. You've used your time wisely, you've managed to accomplish every task, but you still end the day, when your head hits the pillow, you still feel like you failed. You still feel like you didn't quite achieve something. I realized that this happened to a lot of top performers, and it was because they weren't asking themselves, what do I need to do today that will make me feel like today has been a good day? You don't think that today's a good day because you did everything you wanted to do. You have to feel like it's been a good day. So I do this activity every single day where I ask myself the question, what do I need to do today that will make me feel like today has been a success? For you, it may be reading your children a bedtime story. It may be making sure that you made 10 minutes to meditate. It may be that you had got a workout in or you had your green juice. It has to be something simple that's easily repeatable on a daily basis, but that you prioritize doing it. Writing down what you did every day gives you ideas for the future as well, and plotting it out in this way makes it really, really simple to remember what you could try on another day. How many of you feel like the months are just passing by, and it's crazy to believe that we're over a quarter of the way through the year? But this is what happens when we don't have really clear goals, targets, and tasks. This approach has really helped me manage my time better. I have big monthly goals, I have 4 weekly targets, and I have 1 daily task. The 1 daily task is the baby step towards the weekly target, and the weekly target added up, all 4 of them, leads to the big monthly goal. So what you're doing here in essence is breaking down something that feels quite unachievable, impossible to do, and quite challenging into small, manageable chunks. Sometimes you can be sitting there thinking, wow, I don't know how I'm gonna get that done by the end of this month. If you've ever felt that way, use this model. First, come up with how can you break that big goal down into 4 separate tasks. Once you have these 4 weekly targets, now all you need to do is divide each weekly target into a daily task. So basically, you end up working on something daily that you achieve weekly, which helps you achieve something monthly. Now you've completely deconstructed this impossible, unachievable idea into something very simple and manageable. Now, I know I said to you earlier that you should focus on single tasking, not multitasking, but here's a way that you can actually get more out of the same time. I learned this from my good friend Arianna Huffington, who speaks about habit stacking. Now, we all have habits in our life that we do every single day without even thinking about it. We're driving around town. We're cooking every single day. We may be on a walk. These are great times to immerse in those activities for sure. When you're driving, to be fully present. If you're going on a hike, to be really there within nature. And if you're cooking, to be really present with the scents, the sounds, and all of the different colors that may be there. But if you're someone who can do some of those things pretty comfortably, you can also add a stack of a habit. So for example, you may be someone who listens to an audiobook while driving. You may be someone that listens to a podcast while cooking or while you're on a hike or walking the dog. It's okay to habit stack in those scenarios to get more out of the same amount of time. I wrote about this in my book. It's called Location Has Energy, Time Has Memory. When you do something in the same place every day, at the same time every day, that space builds an energy and that time builds a memory. What does that mean? When you've done something in one place, like meditated in the same place for a considerable amount of time, that space takes on a meditative energy and frequency. It becomes easier to do that activity in that place. And similarly, when you do something at the same time every day, that time has a memory. Your body, your mind remember that, and therefore it becomes easier to do. Divide your home, even in corners. I remember when my wife and I lived in a 500 square foot apartment, and literally every corner of that room was divided into a meditation corner, a social corner, a work corner, and an eating corner. Even that differentiation allowed you to keep the energy of that space sacred and appropriate for what you want to do. The challenge today is we eat where we're meant to sleep. We sleep where we're meant to work, and we work where we're meant to eat. So we've confused the energy of our environment. That's why we're sitting in bed and can't sleep, because we do so many different activities there. Remove that energy from the bedroom, place it where it needs to be, and allow yourself to see how you use your time more effectively in that place. A lot of people think sleep is a waste of time. I don't. Getting good quality sleep is integral to making more out of the time you have when you're awake. I consistently sleep for 8 hours a night, and I'm really, really happy about it because I know that it allows me to perform better mentally and physically throughout the day. One of the things I will add though is that you want to be sleeping before midnight. The sleep before midnight is extremely powerful and is really critical for the HGH, the human growth hormone, to be activated. So if you're sleeping at 9 p.m. and you're getting those 3 hours before midnight, that's extremely powerful, or even 2 if you're sleeping at 10 p.m. So getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night is critical to being productive with your time when you are awake. Don't fall into that trap or that habit to believe that you should be sleeping less to do more with your time. How many of you find it difficult to start something new? Or maybe you find yourself spending hours waiting around for that perfect idea. Or maybe you're someone who just feels confused about doing anything and everything. If you can relate to any of those statements, this video is for you. I always thought that we wasted time because we were lazy or we were indecisive. And while some of these things may be true for you, there actually is a deeper reason why we feel that way. And today I'm going to introduce you to 3 ideas that are going to help you break through them. One of my favorite books is called Flow. I was recently rereading it on the Blinkist app. Flow talks about flow state, which is experienced by musicians, rappers, singers, athletes when they're in the zone. When they're performing at such a high level, they even forget space, time, and everything around them, and you get to see art or magic in real life. Now, there are a lot of amazing lessons inside Flow, but one of my favorite ones is this discussion when you're looking at skills versus challenges. How many of you have ever felt that you don't have the best skills in an area and the challenge feels really high? Chances are, if you've experienced that, you end up feeling frustrated or stuck and disappointed in yourself. And that's one of the reasons why you start overthinking and procrastinating. You don't have the skills, you have a challenge or a goal that's set really high, and now you feel overwhelmed and overburdened by the height of that target that you just give up and stop working. Sometimes we have the opposite experience, where our skill is really high, but actually we haven't looked at our challenges. We've been doing the same thing over and over again. We've been repeating the easy win. And in that situation, we sometimes feel bored, lost, or confused. We feel like our life doesn't have meaning, it doesn't have purpose, and there's nothing exciting or thrilling about the work that we do. The author goes on to say that flow is achieved when our skill meets our challenge. So when we really want to experience that flow state, being in the zone, feeling that momentum, feeling that energy, thriving, we have to make sure that our skill and challenges match. Are we feeling frustrated and stuck because our skills are too low and our challenges are too high? Or are we feeling bored because our skills are too high and our challenges are low? In either case, we want to focus on either increasing our skills or increasing our challenge. That helps us focus on the area that we actually need to have an impact, and we stop wasting time with all the distractions. So now, instead of procrastinating and overthinking, we start focusing on a list of things that can help us improve our skills. You have books, coaching, mentors, communities, courses. All of these are phenomenal ways to start learning. Now, if you're someone who needs to increase your challenge can be increased through networking. I remember when I used to speak or get invited to speak at colleges and schools. I love that experience. I still do it today whenever I can. But at one point I realized I wanted to stretch my comfort zone. Then I started working with corporate companies because I really wanted to help organizations build new models of thinking. Today, I work with so many Fortune 500 companies and enjoy the experience deeply, but I also wanted to extend my challenge beyond that. I started speaking on stages. I started speaking at my own events. What I've found is that you can extend your challenge by increasing your goals or targets, or by changing the scale or the depth. Sometimes we challenge ourselves by trying to affect more people, do more things, and sometimes we challenge ourselves by going deeper in the areas we're already in. And finally, a new way of challenging yourself is a new industry. When you think about someone like Michael Jordan, who went off to play baseball, or you think about Steve Jobs, who went into movies and Pixar and animation, people have challenged themselves across industries when they've truly mastered their field.